Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are NC.
The Minnesota Twins celebrated a new ballpark with a division championship. Again, it's their 6th in the last 9 years. Now they go for home field advantage for the playoffs. Game 1 with the Royals is next on Fox Sports Kansas City. At least for tonight, the Royals don't have to worry about Joe Mauer, who has 2 5-hit games and is batting .516 this season against the Royals. He's out with a sore knee. Tonight, the Royals begin their final homestand of 2010. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Kauffman Stadium with the Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. I'm Ryan Lefevre. And not only did the Twins win their division, but they finished with the best home record in the American League, so they want to spend as much time as possible there during the postseason.
Well, Ryan, they have full house, too. I mean, new ballpark, sell out every day. But the number one thing that was important to us was being able to sleep in your own bed, know that when you came to the ballpark to play these big games, you were playing them in front of your home crowd.
And we still have to settle the best record in the American League. We still have to settle the American League East. It won't be enough for the Twins to tie either New York or Tampa Bay because both of those teams own the tiebreaker against the Twins. Now for the Royals, for their final week, they're going to look at some of the pieces for 2011.
Well, Ryan, I tell you, you look at Gerard Dyson, he's showing the fans that he's got the kind of speed that the Royals are looking for. He's got to show that he can swing the bat a little bit better, and then when you get in the outfield, continue to play that great outfield defense. Josh Fields, coming off an injury, he's another guy, Ryan, that's got to show not only that he can play third, but he can supply some power with the bat and maybe be in the mix for the Royals going into 2011. Jay Miller, a young athlete, good-looking athlete. He's played left field, right field. Now he's got to get that bat going and try to solidify some thought process for the Royals going into next season. Lucas May, catcher, converted. Now this guy right here, Ryan, is going to be a big part of the Royals going in 2011. He's got to show that he can improve in all phases of the game, not only offensively, but calling the game.
Kyle Davies starts tonight, and after winning his first 2 starts in September, now he's lost his last 2, even though he had 8 strong innings in his last start against the Tigers. We'll talk more pitching when we come back. To learn more, visit kia.com. By Kellogg's, the best to you each morning. And by the Missouri Lottery. The Royals don't have to worry about Joe Mauer. They also won't have to worry about Jim Thome, who is not in the lineup tonight. He has 4 home runs against the Royals this year and 47, that's right, 47 in his career against the Royals. Here is the lineup that Kyle Davies will face tonight, presented by M&I Bank. So with Joe Mauer out and Justin Morneau still bothered by the concussion, Delman Young, who normally hits 7th for the Twins, he will bat 3rd. He's having an MVP-type season. He is 5th in the American League with 107 RBIs. Kyle Davies gets the start for the Royals. Here's the Kia report.
Kyle Davis, 130th career start this year, right? He was impressive his last start. He pitched a complete game even though he didn't get the win. So I think the key to Kyle Davis right now is to just finish strong and take something positive into the offseason.
Speaking of the Royals looking forward, they might take a look at Mike Aviles at third base. He played there a couple of games during the Cleveland series, and since the beginning of August, he's hitting over .340. It's the Royals and the Twins, and the first pitch is next. Definition brought to you by Time Warner Cable, where HD is free with digital cable. Absolutely gorgeous in Kansas City, and the Royals appear that they're going to be blessed with great weather throughout the entire final homestand, which is 3 against Minnesota and 4 against Tampa Bay. Kyle Davies on the mound for the Royals, and here are the Royals defensively tonight. It's Alex Gordon, Gerard Dyson, and Jay Miller in the outfield, with Josh Fields, Yuniesky Betancourt, Mike Aviles, and Keila Ka'aihue at first base, and Lucas May will make his 7th Major League start tonight. Out in right field is Joel Goldberg. Hi, Joel.
Hi, Ryan. I had a chance to talk with Ron Gardenhire today, and even though clinching home field throughout the playoffs of the first round is important to him, number one is health. You mentioned the health of Joe Mauer, and we might see him as a DH in this series. Also, J.J. Hardy went back to Minnesota for treatment on a sore knee. Jim Thome might go back to Minnesota for treatment on a sore back. He said priority number one to get everybody healthy before they get rolling into the playoffs, guys.
All right, thank you, Joel. Well, this is a luxury for Minnesota that they're not used to. They clinched with 11 games to go, so they can rest some guys. They can get their pitching in order. Remember last year, it wasn't until after a 163rd game that the Twins clinched the Central.
And what a nice balancing act it's going to be for Ron Gardenhire. Ryan, he's got to not only try to get his guys healthy, get his pitching lined up, but he also wants to win ball games. So it's going to be hard to do all three of those. And he's going to try to get it done in this last week.
9th season for Ron Gardenhire as manager of the Twins, and he has won 6 division titles. Denard Span opens the game with a base hit into center field. And now 25 stolen bases are at first with nobody out. 65 degrees with just a very gentle breeze blowing from left to right. Game started on time at 7:10, and the time and temp is brought to you by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCI. So Span at first, and now switch hitting Orlando Hudson. And he's after the first pitch. Gerard Dyson moves towards right center, and that is out number 1.
A lot of times, Ryan, when you talk about resting guys, your speed guys are the ones that you really want to really take care of. And with Denard Span at first base, and you wonder how aggressive is he going to be in terms of stealing bases and things like that. So that's just one area that he's got to try to balance this week.
Still is strange, and especially this late in the season, to see Minnesota 11th in the league in stolen bases. Denard Span is one of the few big stolen base threats. He has 25 of the team's 66 stolen bases. So here's Delman Young, who has spent most of the year batting 6th or 7th. By far his most at-bats have been as the number 7 hitter. And he's driven in 107 runs this year. And the Twins tonight are without Joe Mauer, who has a sore knee, and Justin Morneau, who's been out the last 3 months because of a concussion. Kyle Davies throws strike 1. Delman Young is 1 home run away from number 20. And if and when he gets there, he'll become the 5th player in Twins history to have a season with at least 20 home runs, at least 40 doubles, and at least 100 RBIs. Gerard Dyson is back, and he just missed that home run by an inch, maybe less than that. So somehow the ball stays in the ballpark, and instead of 2 runs coming across the plate, the Twins have runners at second and third with 1 out.
Well, you're right, Ryan. Delman Young, I tell you, from a fastball standpoint, he can hit the fastball. And this was out over the plate. And you can see the real power that he does have in his bat. Straightaway center, right off the top of the very. I mean, that's a great play by Dyson, too, being in the right spot. But that ball bounces off either way. They do have a run, but you can see how close it came to being 2-0.
So Kyle Davies will try and turn that into a break as nobody comes around to score, and now pitches to Jason Kubel. Kubel has given Minnesota 20 home runs this year, and he has driven in 87. Not quite where he was a year ago. Last season, Kubel had his 2nd straight career year as far as numbers on offense.
Yeah, 9 for 20 against Kyle with 4 doubles, Ryan, coming into this ball game.
Kyle pitching him inside, and he's missed with both. 2-0.
Minnesota's got to feel pretty good about some of the moves that they had to make. You know, Morneau goes out with the injury. All of a sudden, Kadar's at first base. Kubel goes from DH to right field, and they don't miss a beat. They just continue to win ball games.
2-1. Well, the entire industry is trying to figure out how they do it. And this is maybe the best example over the last 9 years when they started winning division titles again. But as you said, somehow, some way, they seem to get better when key players go down.
And that's how you build your team. When you got a guy like Kubel who can hit the ball out of the ballpark,
which he's trying to do here. Jay Miller comes up a little short, so 2 runs will come home as Young and Kubel hit back-to-back doubles, and Minnesota with 2 in the first inning.
Yeah, you see where Kubel right here, Ryan, just takes advantage right here of a 92-mile-an-hour cutter. This just turns on this fastball, gets it down in the corner. Now, this is where Jay Miller and guys who play the outfield here, they've got to understand that that wall doesn't go across, it goes deeper, and they got to realize right away whether or not they can beat that ball to the corner and come off and try to play it on a hop. So he got trapped in there pretty deep.
And now Michael Kadire with a runner at second base. And a good pitch from Davies, down and away, strike 1. Minnesota Twins this year are 12-3 against the Royals and have done most of their damage early in the game. And when I say early, I mean early, as in the first inning. They have now outscored the Royals 20-3 in the first. Twins are second in the league in hitting. They are 5th in runs scored. No balls and 2 strikes on Kadire. The Royals on offense this year have had an excellent year against the Twins. In fact, as far as batting average goes, their best ever single season against Minnesota. The Royals are hitting .332 against the Twins. So how could they possibly be 3-12? Well, the Royals' ERA against Minnesota this season is 7.56. And that explains it.
You're not going to win many games giving up 7 runs, an average of 7 runs a game in any league you play in. You hope that you can get 5.5 to 6 runs a game on a good ball club.
Bruce Chen was a tough luck loser in Cleveland yesterday, going 7 innings, 7 scoreless innings. And the Royals had a 3-0 lead going into the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Indians scored 5. Kadire lines it up the right field line, but that will slice foul, and we stay at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So the Royals finish the trip 2-5, going through Cleveland and Detroit, but all of a sudden the series in Detroit doesn't look so bad because the Tigers just got done sweeping the Twins. Minnesota arrives at Kauffman Stadium having lost their last 3 games, and they were outscored by the Tigers 26-12. Still 2-2.
Well, there's no doubt about the Twins' offense. You say, how do they keep doing it? But when you look at Kadire, Kubel, those are 2 guys that not only can hit, these are 2 guys that can also play defense, and you don't lose anything. So you also have to understand, too, that when these guys make this switch from right field or DH, they're not losing anything because these guys can all hit the ball at the ballpark.
Into left center field, and that's past Dyson. Well, the Royals thought they had a break when Delman Young's possible home run hit the top of the wall, but now Minnesota's hit 3 consecutive doubles, and they're at it again in the first inning and lead 3-0.
It's all about having that feel like you can win every game that you go out to play. And this is the Twins coming out, Ryan, and they're jumping all over every mistake that Kyle Davies makes out over the plate. And Kadire does the same thing. Gets a fastball up out over the plate and drives it in the alley. You know, Kadire's another guy, too, that you look at his home run numbers this year versus last year. Last year he was up over 30. Now he's like around 14. So the outside facility, it hurt his at-bats, too.
His value, talking about guys moving around and their performance staying the same. He is a former infielder, so moving to the dirt is nothing new for him, but he had been the regular right fielder for so long. But a seamless move to first base with Justin Morneau down with the concussion. And now the rookie Danny Valencia, who couldn't wait to get to Kauffman Stadium, I'm sure, because when the Twins were here last time, Valencia was 8 out of 12. He hit a home run, he had 3 doubles, and he drove in 7 runs.
You know, as the Royals rookies start to move up from the minor leagues to the major leagues, guys like Mike Moustakas and Eric Hosmer, this is what you want to see out of these guys. You're hoping that they can get off to a start like Valencia's off to, and then that'll give you a heck of a lot of hope going forward as far as your farm system and as your team as far as moving up in the division.
Valencia is the DH tonight. Matt Tolbert is at third base. Right to Jay Miller in right field. 2 outs. A luxury like for Valencia on a team like the Twins is that he's surrounded by a lot of veteran players who have been here for a long time. That might not be a luxury for someone like Mike Moustakas or Eric Hosmer when they get up here. They might move right into the middle of the lineup because that's what they're going to be eventually. But Ron Gardenhire has the luxury of hitting Valencia down in the order because he already has Mauer, Morneau, Kadire, Kubel, on and on.
Right, they don't have to carry they don't have to carry the bulk of the offense. You're right.
2 hops to Keela. He's to the bag to end the inning. Minnesota gets 3 against Kyle Davies. Three consecutive doubles in the first inning and a 3-0 lead. Now the Royals batting order presented by M&I Bank. Gerard Dyson will lead off. He's in center field. And Mike Aviles, who had a very good road trip with 2 home runs, 5 driven in, 7 runs scored, will bat second, followed by Butler, Kai Hue, Josh Fields at third base tonight, Alex Gordon, Yuniesky Betancourt, Lucas May, and Jay Miller. All to face right-hander Kevin Slowey as we look at the Kia report.
All right, Kevin Slowey in 7 career starts versus Rawls has done very well. And right now with that 13-6 record, which every starter will take, doesn't seem to be on their postseason rotation as of now. But he hasn't allowed many runs in the last 3 starts, no more than 2 earned runs.
1 strike on Gerard Dyson, who got off to a good start during the road trip in Detroit. But counting the final game in Detroit and the 4 games in Cleveland, he finished 0 for his last 14. Ahead in the count here, 2 balls and 1 strike. When Dyson has been in the starting lineup, he has led off. He has batted nowhere else as a starter. And as we've described earlier, the Royals want to get a look at him in that spot, and he hits a bullet to center field. And unfortunately for him, it stays up for Denard Span. Minnesota has committed the second fewest errors in the American League. And on defense tonight, it's Young, Span, and Kubel in the outfield. Tolbert, KCA, Hudson, and Kadire at first. And the backup catcher, Drew Butera, is back at the plate for Kevin Slowey. And he throws a strike to Mike Aviles. Back our way and just overhead. Aviles with a very strong finish to the season on offense. So much so that the Royals want to get a look at him at third. He played back-to-back games at third base in Cleveland.
I really can't say whether or not that was a thought process that the Royals had prior to September, because it's really the power numbers weren't there. And as the power numbers started to come, maybe they thought maybe he's healing a lot faster, getting a lot stronger, and maybe he can profile out at that position until things get better down the road in the minor leagues for those guys when they start to move up.
Second base, and third base for that matter, not really a natural position for Aviles. He's a shortstop, and he was a shortstop when he was the Royals Player of the Year 2 years ago. And the Royals would like to improve defense at second base, but the way he's swinging the bat, as they say, if you can hit, they will find a position for you.
Well, they will definitely work on it.
Sometimes they will invent a position for you.
You know, really, it doesn't become really a big problem until you get into the playoffs and the World Series. That's where you want your defense, and I think defense takes more of a presence over offense in that, especially in a short series.
1-1 on Billy Butler, who hit .360 during the road trip, and also had 6 walks for very impressive on-base percentage. Drove in 4 runs. And ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike against Slowey. Billy has been driving the ball more in this month, and he drives one into the right field corner and just foul. Even watching him take batting practice before the game, Frank, you can tell that I don't know if he's trying to necessarily hit the ball farther, but muscling up a little more, and it's been carrying over into the games.
Well, I think you can find time, especially in those first 2 strikes, where you can try to be aggressive and like we talked about, hitting doubles. He's basically trying to get the ball off the ground and try to drive it to the deepest part of the outfield. And if he comes out a double, that's a plus. Those are power numbers. But I think what Kevin Seitzer and Ned Yost looking for in Billy is just in certain situations, if the count's in your favor, just try to do more than just hit a single. Let the single be a result of it being 2 strikes and you're just trying to survive and put the ball in play.
Billy with 15 home runs and 42 doubles, and that double total is the 6th highest in the league. And Slowey strikes him out looking, so Slowey gets 3 runs and then has a 1-2-3 first. Now what's possible with the nation's fastest mobile broadband network, AT&T. Rethink possible by Panera Bread. Explore a menu of hearty soups, salads, sandwiches, and breakfast items at Panera Bread. And by Chevrolet. Come see for yourself why 1,000 people a day are switching to Chevy. See your Kansas City area Chevy dealer. And if the weather forecasts are correct, if you live in and around Kansas City, what you experience today is going to continue throughout the week. And the Royals have certainly earned that with some of the rain-delayed games they've had this year.
It's beautiful.
Drew Butera behind the plate as Joe Mauer has been out of the starting lineup for a while now. Mauer had an MRI on his knee recently, and all the reports were positive, but he hasn't been in the starting lineup now in 8 days. So an opportunity for Butera, and he flies to Alex Gordon in left field, one down in the second inning. Tonight's number for our Take the Field sweepstakes is 36. If you'd like to win a pair of replica Royals jerseys, go to foxsportskansascity.com during tonight's game and enter the sweepstakes, including number 36. There's a jersey winner every game, and one fan will throw out the first pitch at a game next year. AT KCA flies to left field. Dyson comes over from center, but Alex makes the play. And after getting 3 runs in the first inning, the Twins have given Kyle Davies 2 quick outs in the second.
Well, Kyle's really done a better job of keeping the ball down this inning, Ryan, and get a little bit more movement to it. Fastball's not as straight in the middle of the plate, so you see that fastball go down to the out half of the plate, and that produced a lazy fly ball to left field.
And now Denard Span, who singled to center to begin the game and came around to score on Jason Kubel's 2-run double. And then Kubel scored on Michael Kadyr's double. Twins' first-round pick in 2002. And during spring training this year, the Twins signed him to a 5-year contract extension. Down in the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Span was just 2 for 15 in the past against Kyle Davies, but hit a ground ball past the mound in the first inning. Still no balls, 2 strikes. Kyle won his first 2 starts this month, so it was business as usual for him in September. That made him 9-1 in September over the past 3 seasons, but now he has lost his last 2 starts, including Wednesday at Detroit. He was able to take the game into the 8th inning, gave up all 4 runs and a 4-2 loss to the Tigers. And if you remember that game, Kyle began with 4 perfect innings, retired the first 12, but then the Tigers came up with 3 in the 5th. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And then after that 5th inning, he retired 8 out of 9. So it was a bump in the road, but it ended up being a big bump in the road. Span thought about it, and the count goes from 0-2 to 3-2.
I think that's really been kind of a common theme throughout the season for a lot of the Royal starters, Ryan. They seem like they're on a roll and everything's going their way, and all of a sudden at 1 inning, before you know it, there's 3, 4, 5 runs on the board. It's a whole new ball game, and you don't know where it came from. So if they can limit it to maybe 1 run and keep moving, but like you say, it's a big bump when they hit. And Zach ran into it his last start, and you know, you're just trying to get that consistency in your start where you can minimize that damage and keep moving right on along.
Kyle hasn't faced the Twins since June the 9th. And the big item for him in that game, 5 walks in 6 2/3 innings. And the Twins will take their walks. They are second in the American League in on-base percentage, which factors in walks and hit batters in addition to batting average. And there's a walk, and the count started with 0-2 against Denard Span. So Kyle lets him get away and will face Orlando Hudson. And once again, the distraction over at first base. Denard Span has stolen 25 bases. Hudson swung at the first pitch he saw in the first inning and flied to center field. This time Kyle goes with a curveball, and it's ball 1. Hudson wouldn't be a bad guy to lead off the next inning. So this would be a running situation for the Twins. Hudson's flyout in the first inning was his first ever at bat against Kyle Davies. And when Davies pitched against Minnesota, Hudson was not in the lineup. He's been on the disabled list twice this year. So has shortstop J.J. Hardy. And we hear that Hardy isn't even here in Kansas City. He's back in Minnesota because of a sore knee. And now Kyle's behind 3 balls and no strikes.
Oh, these are the guys, Denard Span, Orlando Hudson. These are the guys that Kyle really has to be aggressive with. You want to try to make these guys put the ball in play and try to get these guys out. You don't want to walk these guys and set the stage for the middle of that order.
And the middle of that order tonight begins with Delman Young, who just missed a 2-run home run to straightaway center field last inning. Span runs. He got a good break, and Hudson fouls it away.
That's the danger you run into when you have speed guys on the bases and the count go to 3-1. He's on the move. Double scores him when normally you get him out early and that doesn't happen. But now he's on the move. It makes it easier. Now the 3-2 count, same situation.
And Hudson takes ball 4. So with 2 outs and nobody on, back-to-back walks. The first walk coming after the count was 0-2. And 2 aboard for Delman Young. No, this has always been the area of concern for Kyle Davies. Walks.
There's never been stuff, but it's just that when you're facing guys that don't hit a lot of home runs, you've got to make those guys put the ball in play. You can't pitch careful to those guys. Guys like Delman Young, you have to pitch careful to.
And a breaking ball is hit in the air into deep left center. Back goes Dyson to the wall, and he runs it down. So Dyson's impact tonight so far is with his glove. Rod Dyson may have just saved the game.
Well, they saved the Royals 2 runs there for sure, Ron. You just said in the opening of the broadcast, this was your player of the week for things just like this, being able to show that speed, save Royals some runs, and this is where the Royals are trying to go in terms of speed in center field.
And if those 2 runs had scored, it would have been 5-0 already. But it's 3-0 as Kila Kaihue leads off against Kevin Slowey, who had a very easy first inning, facing 3 and retiring 3. Kila hit .231 on the trip with his 5th home run of the year. He'll be followed by Josh Fields and then Alex Gordon. 2-1. Stroke to right center field. Kubel can't quite cut it off, so it goes all the way to the wall. And Kila goes to second base. Take a look at tonight's You Call It, presented by Sprint. Who has been the most impressive September call-up? Rod Dyson, Josh Fields, Lucas May, or Jay Miller? Text 432-432. Enter keyword Royals, a space, and then A, B, C, or D. Standard text rates apply. And here is Josh Fields. He fouls away the first pitch, 0-1. Fields only had 5 at-bats during the trip, and 1 hit. He drove in a run, and he's driven in 2 since joining the Royals. His first run was on a home run at Minnesota, and unable to get Kila over to third base, he grounds back to Slowey, 1 away. And that brings up Alex Gordon, who had a tough finish to the trip. 2 for 22 overall and 0 for his last 12. So his average has dipped down to .217. Loops the first pitch up the left field line, and that is a fair ball just inside the line. Alex on his way to second base, and Delman Young with a strong arm. His throw is late. And the Royals have runners at second and third with 1 out.
Take a look at this swing here. Kila gets a better read off this ball, Ryan. He can really score on this ball right here. He didn't come down the line until the ball actually hit. And you hear Alex. Now this is where he's got to really be hustling, because he's got to feel that this ball is going to be a double also. But he didn't really kick it in until he got to first base. So both guys could have done a better job of hustling on this play.
Alex Gordon is safe at second base. Safe and secure. New York life. So 2 doubles, no runs in the inning. Ball 1 to Yuniesky Betancourt, who hit .360 on the trip with a home run and 5 driven in to add to his team leading total of 76 RBIs, and there's 2 more out there for him. Pulled to third. Tolbert is going to come to the plate. That was his easiest play, and Kila somehow gets under the tag.
You don't see this very often. You don't get this call very often. If the ball beats the runner, then normally that runner's going to be out at the plate. We take a look at it right here. This throw goes right. Gutierrez got the ball in plenty of time, but you see where the foot is in relation to the tag. That's a good call.
But as you said, a call that is hardly ever made.
I mean, he's got the ball at least 3 steps before he gets there. So you're right, it's hardly ever made.
So a run scores. And now runners at first and second with one out. The tying run on base. And ball one inside to Lucas May. So Betancourt gets an RBI with the fielder's choice. His 77th of the year. And now Lucas May up the left field line. That is fair. Gordon scores easily. Betancourt coming around third base. And the relay to the plate is late. And the Royals have tied the game with 3 in the second inning.
Chevrolet shows us through box tracks the location of his pitch is a fastball on the inner half, right on the inside corner. Lucas May really clears his hips and gets this ball down the line, right? A good hand-eye coordination on that ball coming in. And you take a look at Delman Young, plays it well off the wall. Alex scores on this play. And here comes Unieski down the line. Scored a second run right there. That was a great piece of hitting right there.
So Minnesota with a 3-run first inning with 3 doubles. And the Royals do the same thing in the bottom of the second. Jay Miller pops it up. And Kadire is there to make the catch. And there are 2 down. So Lucas May picks up his first Major League extra base hit. Rides in his 3rd and 4th runs. Back to tonight's You Call It, presented by Sprint. And maybe Lucas will get some love from Royals fans after that 2-run double to tie the game. Gerard Dyson is way out in front. Now it's 77%. And Dyson fouls the first pitch away. Now remember, not that I'm trying to push anyone in the direction of Lucas. This is a Kansas Cityan we're talking about now. He lives in Kansas City, not from here. He's from the St. Louis area, which might also explain the 0%. There we go. We got him 7%, Frank. The rest is up to him.
I think when Dyson ran that ball down the left center field, that might have got him a few votes right there. You don't see that play caught very often. That ball caught very often.
And if he doesn't catch it, it's 5-3 Minnesota right now. And maybe the Royals don't score these 3 runs in this inning because Minnesota leads 5-0. Instead, he makes the catch, and that gives the dugout some energy, and they come back with 3. Three balls, 1 strike. You see it happen often. Sometimes it's a coincidence. Most of the time it isn't. But an excellent play is made for the final out of 1 inning. And then the offense, which is just coming off the field, ends up scoring a run. Dyson cranks it into deep right center field. It is gone! Dyson with his first Major League home run. And the Royals take a 5-3 lead in the second inning. That fan just threw the ball back onto the field because he realized that it was Gerard Dyson's first Major League home run, and Denard Span just threw it in the Royals bullpen.
Well, that's awesome right here. Now, this is how you hit a changeup, Brian. His changeup stays out over the plate. He had full extension. You just don't see, in this small package, you don't see this power, but he does have good power in his bat when he squares one up. But you can see that right on the sweet spot.
And Gerard Dyson comes out for a curtain call. How about that? And that fan will get something for trading that home run ball. And he has a bright yellow or green shirt that says, "Can you see me?" He's going to be noticed before he catches the home run ball. And now he is definitely noticed.
And normally they would go out and exchange 2 balls for 1 because they want to show the fan who gives the baseball back how special that ball is.
0-2 now on Mike Aviles, who flied out to right field. Well, this rally may have started when Dyson made the catch in the top of the 2nd inning in deep left center field. Maybe not. Now that fan has a baseball in his glove now in exchange for Dyson's first major league home run ball. Aviles with a sharp one-hopper past KCA, and that's into left center field. The Royals with 5 runs on 5 hits against Slowey in the 2nd inning. And the 1st inning couldn't have been any easier for Kevin Slowey. He faced 3, only threw 14 pitches. He had a strikeout and a 3-0 lead. And now Billy Butler, who's the 9th man to come up in the inning. Slowey struck him out to end the 1st. And now Aviles takes off for 2nd. Butera's throw is high. KCA tried to tag Aviles on the helmet before his foot hit the bag. And Mike goes to 2nd base with his 11th stolen base of the year.
Well, Mike didn't hesitate. Had a real good jump off Slowey. He just kept his head down and took a quick peek in, but made it easily into 2nd base.
And the slider's in for a strike. 1-1 to Billy. Fouled away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, the Royals needed this big inning as they lost 3 out of 4 in Cleveland. Royals had their problems on offense. They were just 3 out of 29 with runners in scoring position in Cleveland. So they had the base runners, just couldn't get him home. In fact, they only scored 7 runs in the last 3 games combined. They have 5 in the 5th inning tonight. It might be 6. Delman Young has a very good arm, and his throw is offline. It is 6 runs. So the Royals bat around. Billy Butler drives in his 77th of the year.
I really like this swing by Billy Butler right here. He didn't try to get inside this ball. It was moving in on him, and he just stayed right with it and hit a line drive into left field. This ball got out there in a hurry. Delman Young comes in and makes a strong throw to the plate, but was just a little bit late.
So Kevin Slowey is out. Jeff Manship is in the Chevy call to the bullpen. in the bottom of the second inning, and they knocked out Kevin Slowey, who was 6-1 in his career against the Royals. Slowey threw his first major league complete game here at Kauffman Stadium back in 2008, taking a shutout into the ninth and lost it, and has been tough on the Royals ever since, but not tonight. And Ron Gardenhire has to go to his bullpen in the second inning. So Kyle Davies, who gave up 3 in the first, will take the mound in the third inning with at least a 3-run lead. Billy Butler drove in Mike Aviles. So the Royals bat around, and now Kila Kaihue, who began all of this with a double, bats against Jeff Manship. Kila doubled. With 1 out, Alex Gordon doubled. Betancourt drove in a run with a fielder's choice. No out was recorded. Lucas May hit a 2-run double, his first major league extra base hit. Gerard Dyson hit his first major league home run. And then Billy Butler driving in the 6th run of the inning. 1 ball, 1 strike against Jeff Manship. Manship out of Notre Dame. The Twins drafted him in 2006. And last year, he got his first major league win against the Royals. That was at the Metrodome. 2 balls, 1 strike. Royals with 6 hits in the inning and 4 extra base hits. Good pitch over the outside, 2-2.
Now we talked about a lot of the young and inexperienced Royals that are on this ball club, guys that are in that 27, 28, 26 age range, who really aren't having that good a year, average-wise or production-wise. I mean, to me, if I'm one of those guys, I'm going to go try to find fifth place, play winter ball. I'm going to try to be ready come spring training.
Royals come up with 6. Gerard Dyson. It's his first major league home run. He drives in 2, and the Royals lead by 3. So he got some cupcakes delivered from the K Crew, courtesy of TJ McGinnis, who is the producer of Hy-Vee Royals Live and Boulevard Royals Live. Take 2, Mike. Mike has what is known as the middle third camera position, which is an excellent spot to be in if we get rain. Kyle Davies has a 3-run lead. He was down 3-0 at the end of a half inning. And he throws a strike to Jason Kubel, who drove in 2 of the 3 runs in the first. Kubel was already a .450 hitter against Kyle, driving in his 88th and 89th runs of the year. After him, Michael Kadire drove in the 3rd run. Two balls, 1 strike.
Well, let's see if that 6 runs on the board sends Kyle Davies in another direction and get him going the right way and get him in the strike zone and get some early outs and get the game moving.
Good changeup. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Most of the time, pitchers don't like a long layoff in between innings because they can lose their rhythm. But Kyle had some time to maybe sit back, watch the Royals score, and forget about what happened in the first inning. Just kind of clear his mind. And he strikes out his first hitter, and a good start to the 3rd inning. Don't miss your final chance to come out to Kauffman Stadium for the last college night of the year. That's Thursday against Tampa Bay. It's a 7:10 game. Specials include select tickets for high school and college students with a valid ID for just $7. Also, food and beverage specials in the outfield plaza concession areas. Royals.com or 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. 1 ball, 1 strike on Michael Kadire, who doubled to left center field. That scored Jason Kubel to get Minnesota a 3-0 lead. Kadire had been 0 for his last 8. 1-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. So the Twins with 3 in the first inning, and then Kyle Davies was able to get around 2 walks in the second, thanks to a great play in center field by Gerard Dyson. Off of Kyle's glove, and it ricochets into center field for a base hit.
I think Kyle right now was really fortunate, Ryan, to get away from this pitch. Kadire hits this ball very hard, head high. And then when he went to reach for it with his glove, I think it just sort of blocked his face. He just sort of didn't see it. And when you see where it couldn't get a good look there, but you get that glove in front of your face, and you're trying to protect your face more so than anything else, and the ball goes by.
So 1 on, 1 out, and now Danny Valencia. And he jumps on the first pitch. Dyson over from center field, and there are 2 down. Valencia is 0 for 2. Kadire bluffing a tag on Gerard Dyson. And this game is so heavily scouted at this level. Remember, during the last homestand, someone took 90 feet on Gerard Dyson because he ended up catching a fly ball on his heels. This time he makes the catch coming through the ball, and Kadire was thinking about going to second base but had to return.
Well, when you're a rookie, they try to exploit you in any way they can, but all you have to do is have it happen to you once, and that's kind of like it is at this level. You have to fail at a couple things, and then you get better from it. So, and you see right now that he hasn't forgotten that one situation where Coco Chris was able to take advantage of him laying back on a fly ball.
So 2 down with Kadire at first, and now Matt Tolbert. That is line foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, you don't go from the 50th round to the big leagues without having some aptitude and being able to take some instruction and be able to use it on the field. I mean, maybe he should have been drafted higher than that. Who knows? So he obviously takes to coaching, because that is the longest of long shots to go that deep into the draft and to get to the big leagues in a relatively short period of time.
Would you compare the 50th round draft pick to a non-drafted free agent? Would they be in the same category? And the only difference between myself and him was that I had a chance to come here and be a utility guy for almost 3 years before I had to go out there and try to perform, where he's got to go out and try to perform right away.
I think it's comparable as long as you're talking about an American-born player, because the foreign-born players that are undrafted free agents, if there was a worldwide draft, a lot of those guys would be going in the first round or second round or third round.
Good point.
Art Stewart was going on and on about Gerard Dyson in spring training this year. And here he is in the big leagues. And he's had to get around a couple of pretty severe injuries, which has taken a big chunk out of his season. Kadire runs and Tolbert fouls it away. We've seen some good catches tonight with the glove or otherwise.
This is like the second one tonight we've seen, Ryan.
Guy's reaching over the railing. Kadire runs again, and it's squirted off the end of the bat, and Fields throws him out. The Twins are scoreless in the third, and the Royals have a 6-3 lead. For pronouncing that correctly. From Lawrence, longtime volunteer with several organizations, including the Headquarters Counseling Center, Community Mercantile Board, the Friends of the Lawrence Public Library, and the Family Promise of Lawrence Charity Auction and Golf Tournament. And enjoying the game tonight from the Buck O'Neil Legacy seat, and enjoyed, I'm sure, the Royals' 6-run bottom of the second inning. Although her guest tonight doesn't seem to be too impressed. Now, if it was an 8-run second inning, well, then that would change everything. But 6 runs doesn't quite cut it for him. Three balls and no strikes on Josh Fields, who was thoroughly disappointed with himself when he grounded out in the second inning, because it followed a double from Kila Kaihue, and the ground out was back to the mound. So that looked like a big out for Kevin Slowey, and at the time it was. But the Royals picked up Josh Fields and knocked Slowey out of the game, scoring 6 runs. Now 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Really amazed if you go back to his first inning and you think he's going to have a very good game. But this ball here is at the top of the zone, and Taco Bell shows us through Fox Tracks that it is a strike. But you go from having a very good first inning to being out of the ballgame.
Ground ball back to the mound again, but this time over the mound. Josh Fields has a leadoff single. Great night at Kauffman Stadium is coming up on Friday when you have the chance to meet the Royals minor league pitchers and players of the year. There will be an autograph session and pregame awards ceremony, and then we hope you'll stay after the game for a spectacular fireworks show presented by Hy-Vee and Pepsi. So that's Friday night with Tampa Bay. Royals.com or 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. So Fields at first. The Royals have 7 hits. And now Alex Gordon, who hit a bloop double his first time up. Now he breaks his bat, and that drops in front of Kubel. So after getting 6 in the second inning, the Royals in the third have 2 on with nobody out.
Well, Alex hits his ball right on the end of the bat, and this maple bat splits right down the middle. Alex ends up with a sword in his hand. But you look at Kadire at first base, his bat falls right behind him as he's watching the base hit to right field. You can see it split right down the middle. It's right toward the end. It just goes right down the center of the bat. That's that maple bat that they're using now that they say it explodes from the inside and not like the ash would crack and hold together. This bat just shatters.
Betancourt takes a strike. Well, remember, it was a couple of years ago when baseball was looking into why the maple bats were breaking as much as they were, and there was a fear that someone was going to be injured badly because of it. Well, it took a couple of years, but we've all seen the highlight, I'm sure, of Tyler Colvin of the Cubs literally being stabbed by a broken bat from one of his own teammates. Deep center field. Span makes the catch, and Josh Fields will move up to third base. So Betancourt, who drove in a run and scored last time up, makes a productive out, getting a runner to third, and there's one away.
You know, we've seen a lot of different situations with that bat. It hasn't hit a player, but how many times have you seen it break, tumble out in the outfield there, and just stab itself right down into the ground? So you've seen it you do it on the mound, in the grass, and this bat on Alex Gordon, and secondly, it just landed right behind Kadire at first base.
Lucas May hit a 2-run double and scored back in the second inning. That was against Kevin Slowey. He takes a curveball for a strike from Jeff Manship.
This is back in the second inning. The fastball on the inner half, right inside the left field line down in the corner, and got 2 RBI on this double.
Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Now our first look tonight at our sprint you call it question. It was a runaway for Gerard Dyson, who had just made a wonderful catch in center field against Delman Young. And we are trying to get some love for Lucas May, who didn't have 1 single vote. But we campaigned. Lucas then came up with a 2-run double. He scored a run, and we've got him up to 10%.
Well, Josh Fields has got a base hit, and he's added a few more percentage points to his too. But you're right. I think it was you saying he was living here in Kansas City. I think that made the big difference right there.
He's one of us now. He is not a seasonal employee. He's got to drive all the way up to KCI like the rest of us. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Lucas May. So Jeff Manship giving up back-to-back singles to begin the inning. And now he's at 12%. And how is Gerard Dyson going down? Well, he might drive in a run. Kubel in right center field brings it down, and he'll play it to second base. So Lucas May has driven in 3 tonight And the Royals have a 7-3 lead. Kyle Davies, after a half inning, was down 3-0. Now he has a 4-run lead. And Jay Miller comes to the plate with Alex Gordon at first base and 2 outs. The Royals have scored the same amount of runs in 3 innings tonight than they did in the last 3 games in Cleveland. Royals hit just 189 after winning the first game of that 4-game series, and scored just 7 runs. And Jay Miller reaching, drives it into left field. Alex trying to go first to third. Miller trying to go to second, and he beats the throw. So the Royals have another extra base hit.
But it's a changeup out and away from it, Ryan. Just all arms right here. It shows you a lot of strength, and that top hand rolls over. You can see his upper body is already gone, and just all arms right there, and just ready to get this ball down the line in left field. Delman Young really comes over and was a little indecisive as to where he wanted to throw that ball. If he comes right up and throws the ball to second base, he might have him at second base.
Instead, Jay Miller is safe at second base. Safe and secure, New York life. And a curveball for a strike to Gerard Dyson, who had been 0 for his last 15 when he came to the plate in the second inning and hit his first major league home run, and hit it to one of the deepest parts of the ballpark, right center field. Just a little bit inside, 1-1.
Well, I think you got this going in early in the broadcast round when you picked him as player of the week. With those numbers that he had, and he did a good job taking his changeup in the right center field for a home run. Well, his first home run, major league home run.
Oh. 1-2.
So a little bit harder on that swing.
So what you're saying is I'm partly responsible for this.
All the way,
right?
All the way. I mean, you look at those numbers, and you would definitely say that's not player of the week numbers.
No.
But you look at the inside of the numbers and what he did, how he changed the game and things like all the good stuff you pointed out. I mean, it made a big difference. Yeah.
Dyson strikes out this time around. The Royals add a run, and at the end of 3, Royals lead 7-3. 6 in the second inning and 1 in the third. That was after Minnesota got 3 right away in the first inning against Kyle Davies. And Minnesota has outscored the Royals 21-3 in the first inning this year. But now 2 scoreless innings from Kyle and a big lead. Drew Butera, AT KCA, and Denard Span. Butera takes a strike. He is the son of Sal Butera, who played parts of 9 seasons in the big leagues, including 2 different stints with the Minnesota Twins. He was with Minnesota when they won the World Series in 1987. 2-2. Drew is out of the Mets organization originally, a former 5th-round draft pick. Three balls, 2 strikes. Let's take a look at tonight's Roadrunner Turbo Speed Pitch comparison. Kyle Davies has hit 95 miles an hour. Jeff Manship, who is in relief of Kevin Slowey, has hit 94. And you can double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable. Jammed him, and Butera fights it off. Still 3 balls, 2 strikes. Seems like we've been bringing this up a lot lately, but Drew Butera, like Lucas May, was a player who was not a catcher until late in his career, and for Butera, late in his professional career. A leadoff walk, and that's Kyle Davies' 3rd walk. And we'll take a look at tonight's league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. Most division titles since 2000. Only the Yankees have more than the Twins, and their run began in 2002. And the Angels, who will not make the postseason this year, they have 5. Yankees and Tampa Bay still duking it out for the top spot in the American League East. KCA off the end of the bat. Dyson comes up, and he'll have to play it on a bounce. So the Twins have runners at first and second with nobody out. So anyway, Frank, it just seems, and maybe I'm just paying more attention now to particular players and how their career began. Now, in the case of Butera, he was converted to catcher late in college, but we're not talking about someone who played, you know, American Legion or Pony League as a catcher, then high school, then all of college, and into professional baseball. He is still somewhat new to that. You mentioned at the top of the broadcast that Lucas May is just about 3 or 4 years into his conversion as catcher. Span drives it to deep center. Dyson will play it to second base with the big lead and keep the double play in order. So Span is out for the first time, and there's 1 away. Alex Avila, catcher for the Tigers, didn't move over to catcher until his senior season in college.
Yeah, Butera has an advantage. You know, his dad was a catcher, so that made it easy for him to make that switch. He probably had some firsthand knowledge of, hey, maybe we better do this to extend your career behind the plate. And I think that's why a lot of guys do make that move behind the plate, is to extend their careers.
We just got done playing the Cleveland Indians, and Lou Marson, Chris Jimenez, 2 catchers with the Indians, did not begin their professional careers as catcher. They moved to catcher. And every time I think of moving to catcher, I remember that when Jose Bautista was with the Royals for a very short period of time, most people have forgotten that, Bob Schaefer was the bench coach for the Royals, and he thought it would be a good idea to make him a catcher because he was so athletic. Well, what does he have? 52 home runs this year or whatever for the Blue Jays?
That would have solved a lot of problems, especially if he could catch.
At that time, he was a third baseman. Yeah, 52 home runs leading the league. The next closest is Miguel Cabrera who has 38. Paul Konerko also has 38. And now Kyle Davies has fallen behind Orlando Hudson. 3 balls, no strikes.
I think when a lot of guys find out, Ryan, in pro ball, it's not really what you want to be. It's what you have to be to stay at the major league level. And I came up as a shortstop, wanted to play shortstop, but when I looked around, I saw Cookie was going to retire a lot earlier than Freddie Patek was. So I said, I better learn how to play second base. So a lot of these guys make these changes because this is what they can do to stay in the major league, and in some cases even stay in pro ball. Period.
Phil Umbers warming up in the Royals bullpen. Kyle Davies struggling to get through the 4th. KCA runs, and there's a line drive into center field. So it's a 7-4 game. Royals middle infield did a good job of making sure that KCA didn't advance beyond second base. They had him convinced there was a ground ball, so he does not go first to third.
Well, that's why I'm always a proponent of watching it, looking in to see what happens with this ball off the bat. When you don't look, then your next move you got to pick up your third base coach, but he did neither one, so he got really deep on that play and cost him 90 feet. What I can't understand is you run into first base, you see the shortstop coming over, you see the second baseman. Obviously, neither one of them caught the ball, but Ewing makes his arm swing, and all of a sudden, you the base runner, you just stop. Why?
And why even look at them? They're not going to help you out.
I just wonder why a guy without the baseball can make you stop.
Well, Kyle Davies has walked one. He's given up 2 hits in the inning. The only out was a line drive to center field. And the Twins are trying to get back into the game. They have the tying run at the plate in Delman Young. And all Delman Young has done tonight is double off the very top of the wall in center field. And then he lost another extra base hit on the best defensive play of the game so far. A running play by Gerard Dyson into left center field that saved 2 runs. Missed a pitch down and away, strike 1.
That's one of the better pitches Kyle has thrown to Young. The good slider down and away. The other 2 pitches, the fastball up out over the plate, the slider up out over the plate that Dyson made a nice play in the alley. So pitches like that, if Kyle can stay right there, he'd be in good shape.
A broken bat, and that will drop into right center field. It is a 2-run game as Delman Young drives in Alexi KCA and runners at first and third.
Well, you see the difference. This is not a bad pitch in terms of location, Ryan. The only bad thing about it is up in the zone. And Delman Young was able to get enough bat on it. He's strong enough to get it out over second base and get it out in the right field for a base hit. You can see the base. KCA, he runs through third base on the score, and Hudson ends up at third base.
And this has to be a heartbreaker for Kyle Davies. He had a 4-run lead going into this inning, and he will come out. Phil Umber is in the Chevy call to the bullpen. It doesn't end very well. Gives up 3 runs in the first inning. The offense then gives him 7 runs, but he's allowed 2 here in the 4th and hands the ball off to Phil Umber, who was originally from the Mets organization, but when the Twins traded Johan Santana to New York, Phil Umber was one of the players coming over from the Mets. He pitched in 5 games for Minnesota in 08 and 8 last year. So going up against one of his former teams, and he inherits runners at first and third, and 1 out, and Jason Kubel at the plate. Orlando Hudson at third base drove in the first run of the inning, and Delman Young at first drove in the second run. And that pitch gets away from Lucas May. A good read for Delman Young to go to second base, but maybe even a better read by Orlando Hudson at third. If he goes to the plate, he's out.
He's definitely out. Umber did a good job after that wild pitch coming down to cover home plate. But Hudson did a good job recognizing the ball off the backstop and hit something solid back there and came right back to Lucas May. And you're right, Ryan. There's been a serious out there at the plate in that situation.
So no chance for a ground ball and a double play because of the wild pitch. And down and in, 2-0 on Jason Kubel. Kubel hit a 2-run double in Minnesota's 3-run first inning, and then he scored on Kadyr's double. Kyle Davies struck him out in the 3rd inning. Drilled to right field and deep. Back goes Miller, and Minnesota has regained the lead. Jason Kubel with his 21st home run. He is up over 90 RBIs now this season, and he has driven in 4 tonight. And now Michael Kadir, who has 2 hits, and he takes ball 1.
Well, you're swinging 2-0, Ryan. You're supposed to get a pitch you can handle. This fastball stayed up in the middle lane, and Kubel was ready for it. And that's when that's what I talk about changing your swing on a certain count. He did a good job on a 2-0 count. This ball is up out of the zone, but when you're trying to be aggressive and you're looking for it, you can do just what he did with it.
Two balls and 1 strike on Kadir. He doubled in a run in the first inning and then singled in the 3rd. So 6, or make that 7 of the 8 runs are charged to Kyle Davies, and that's in 3 1/3 innings. Got him with a fastball away. 2 down. Doesn't happen all the time, but many times a big inning begins with a leadoff walk, and that's what happened in this inning. And Drew Butera, who's hitting right around 190, got a leadoff walk, and that's when all this started. Andy Valencia takes a strike. He is 0 for 2.
Well, you're right, Ryan. I think you really have to go down the order and see what guys are hitting, and if they're leading off innings, these are guys you want to be aggressive with. You don't want to be too fine with these guys. You don't want to put them in a position to walk. You want to go right after them. But they're hitting below 200 for a reason. So you want to go after these guys and just keep these guys off the base and just deal with the guys that are swinging their bat well.
And Valencia on 1 hop to Yuniesky Betancourt. So the Royals and Twins have broken the seal in game 1. It is 8-7 to the bottom of the 4th. We hope you can join us a week from tomorrow. We'll be at Lucky Strike in the Power and Light District as Joel Goldberg is going to try to defend his title of Kingpin. We're going to be collecting items for the Salvation Army. Here's a list of those as Mike Aviles fouls it back into the screen. Blankets, winter coats, winter gloves. If they're sitting around the house, they could go to good use if you bring them to Lucky Strike. New underwear, new socks. We're also collecting items for an orphanage in Haiti. My wife Sarah will be making a trip there next month, and we'll be collecting items as well for them. Mostly boys' clothing. If you have boys' clothing that your kids have outgrown, please bring them out to Lucky Strike. They will go to great use. And you can watch Joel Bull. Royals alumni will be there. Frank will be there. Willie Wilson, Jeff Montgomery, John Mayberry, Dennis Leonard, Mike Boddicker, Brian McRae, Jim Eisenreich, Willie Aikens, Jamie Quirk, Greg Pryor, Shane Halter, Sean Sedlacek. Hope I'm not forgetting anyone.
That's a good list. I think Joel is the most important one, though. He's a winner.
He proudly displayed the Kingpin Trophy during Hy-Vee Royals Live tonight.
You know, Split pointed out that while my name ended up on that trophy, Jeff Montgomery carried us. I think Monty said he hadn't bowled in 15 years and had the highest total for any alum. Just riding his coattails.
He did. You're right. Mike Aviles on base for the second time. He won the Pin's Worst Enemy Trophy, did he not?
Yes, although I think there was somebody else that had a higher score than anyone there.
Right.
He didn't get a lot of credit for it.
Well, we're only going to give those trophies away to the celebrities. You can't bring some ringer to the tournament. So we hope to see you a week from tomorrow beginning at 7 p.m. at Lucky Strike. Billy Butler has driven in a run and he has struck out. If you weren't with us earlier, Minnesota, who has been beating up the Royals all year and starting in the first inning, scored 3 against Kyle Davies, and they've outscored the Royals 21-3 in the first inning this year. So same old for Ron Gardenhire's Twins, but the Royals came back with 6 in the second inning and knocked Kevin Slowey out, and that's big news because Kevin Slowey was 6-1 against the Royals in his career, including throwing 7 shutout innings in a game against Zach Greinke earlier this season. The Royals knocked him out. The Royals added another run in the third for a 7-3 lead, only to watch Minnesota come up with 5 in the fourth. Aside from that, it's been a pretty quiet game.
Definitely been a strange game. You see Kevin Slowey's first inning. It's okay. He's got pretty good stuff. This is going to go deep. Kyle Davies has a bad first inning, and then he bounces back and looks like he's got it all straightened out. And in the end, neither one of them had it going.
And you pointed out, Frank, that Kevin Slowey, at least to this point, is not going to be in the postseason starting rotation. He is 13-6.
I shook my head when I read that too.
And Minnesota, they don't really have an ace, a so-called number one, big league number one, but they've got a lot of number 2s and number 3s. They have 6 pitchers with at least 10 wins and 6 solid starters right now on their roster. Billy lines it past KCA. He has his second hit. Aviles will go first to third, and back come the Royals with runners at the corners and nobody out.
I'll tell you, Ryan, I don't know if Billy gets any props for swinging harder or trying to do more. But I tell you, the ball that he's hit so far this game have really been hit hard. And he just drives this ball right back to see it, shortstop. Aviles, without stopping, goes all the way to third base.
Ron Gardenhire will make another pitching change. It's left-hander Ron Flores. A single, and runners at first and third, nobody out. Randy Flores comes into the game. I said Ron Flores. That's his brother, who also pitched in the big leagues for a long time, as has Randy, and was picked up by the Twins from the Rockies. So he comes on with Aviles at third base, Butler at first, and left-hand hitting Keila Ka'aihue coming up, and then two batters down the road, another left-hand hitter, and Alex Gordon. Well, the Rockies placed Flores on waivers back on August the 25th, and the Twins picked him up. The Twins have had injuries to their left-hand pitchers. Ron Mayhay is done for the year after injuring his right shoulder, his non-throwing shoulder, and Jose Majares has been out with a knee problem. In fact, he had surgery on his knee. He is back now, but all of a sudden the Twins were without a lefty. They got Flores, and they picked up Brian Fuentes, the former Angels closer. Keila doubled, leading off the Royals' 6-run second inning. And he also struck out in that inning, so he batted twice. Alex Burnett warming up behind Randy Flores. One ball, two strikes on Keila. At one time at the University of Southern California, Randy Flores and his brother Ron played together. Both made it to the big leagues. Keila into right field. Back goes Kubel. That's deep enough to tie the game. Kubel makes the catch. Aviles comes down from third, and we're tied at 8.
Keila did a real good job waiting on that breaking ball to come in. He threw a fastball right by him, and then he just sits there and he stays back and he waits on this breaking ball out over the plate and gets it deep enough in the right center field to get himself an RBI. He did a real good job staying back on his backside. When he gets in trouble is when that front side started to go forward, and Mike was able to score easy on that sac fly.
Ball one to Josh Fields, who singled leading off the third inning and came around to score. And when he did, the Royals had a 7-3 lead. Josh is also grounded back to the mound, 1 for 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Three and 0. Back to tonight's You Call It, presented by Sprint. Lucas May, 23%, and he's earned it. He has 3 RBIs tonight. Gerard Dyson still has a big lead with 47%. He has his first major league home run and the best defensive play of the game so far. When the Twins were batting in the second inning with 2 outs and runners at first and second, Delman Young hit one to the wall in left center. Dyson ran it down, and in the next half inning the Royals scored 6. Pounded to deep center field and gone, way gone. And Josh Fields gives the Royals a 10-8 lead.
Right on a cool night like this, late into September, and you don't expect to see balls travel like this at the straightaway center field of this ballpark. But Josh Fields, he reached out and touched that one very good.
424 feet, the straightaway center. So now the Royals back out in front by 2.
I mean, you see this pitch right down the middle of the plate. I mean, he just got full extension, but you just don't see the ball travel like that this time of the year. Man, they hit this one over 2 walls in center field.
There was only 1 wall left. 2 strikes on Alex Gordon.
Oh, very impressive ball.
Alex had been 0 for his last 12, but 2 hits tonight, including a double and a run scored. Still down 0-2 against Randy Flores. So after the Royals scored 6 against Kevin Slowey in less than 2 innings, now they have 3 charged to Jeff Manship, and they've hung 1 on Randy Flores. Into left field, Delman Young is there. 2 outs. And out comes Ron Gardenhire with right-hand bats coming up. So Flores got the 2 left-hand hitters, but in between gives up a 2-run home run to Josh Fields to put the Royals in front. had 2 3-run innings, a 5-run inning, a 6-run inning, and a 1-run inning. Alex Burnett will come on with 2 outs and face Yuniesky Betancourt. Royals have hit 2 home runs tonight. Gerard Dyson with his first major league home run. And Josh Fields just hit a 2-run home run to center field against Randy Flores. And that put the Royals back out in front. Ball 1 to Yuniesky Betancourt. 0 for 2. Drove in a run when he reached with a fielder's choice in the 2nd inning, giving him 77 RBIs this year. 1 ball, 1 strike. Billy Butler has also driven in a run tonight, so Butler and Betancourt are tied for the team lead with 77 driven in. One and 2. Well, and the Twins scored 5 in the 4th inning. We talked about how all of that started with a leadoff walk. And as Betancourt goes down, this inning began with a leadoff walk. A sac fly gets 1 home, and Josh Fields' home run gets in the next 2. Down by 3. They have been down by 1. They've been ahead twice. Do you think this is going to be a 10-8 final score?
I don't think so. I think this game has got a long way to go, and unless the pitcher comes in there and shuts it down. Right now, both teams, every mistake a pitcher throws out there, they're squaring it up pretty good.
And that's what both managers are looking for right now. Someone to come out of the bullpen and restore some order to this game. Although I use the word restore loosely because there really hasn't been much order at any point, as the Twins got 3 in the top of the 1st inning. 2 balls and no strikes from Phil Umber to Matt Tolbert, who has grounded out twice. Those at bats against Kyle Davies, who is off the hook, giving up 7 runs in 3 1/3. Umber replaced him with 1 out in the 4th and allowed a 2-run home run. Line to center. So Dyson makes the play on Tolbert. 1 away. And let's go down to Joe Goldberg.
Well, guys, you talked about this last week, and Split and I were talking about it on the pregame show. Ron Gardenhire, will he be named Manager of the Year in the American League for the first time? I talked to Jim Thome about it today, and Gardy is his 9th manager ever in the big leagues. And, you know, he said he's seen a lot of guys, but he said what he loves about Gardy is how great he is at handling the players. He also knows how to run a game. He said this guy, the players love him, but he knows how to push the right buttons. He knows how to go out there and get it done. Will listen to the guys, but he's also tough because he's so passionate about the game. He said, you know, I don't know if I have a vote, but if I did, I would definitely vote for him. I think one of his other favorites, he was saying, was Mike Hargrove. But over the course of his career, McNamara, Hargrove, the list goes on and on. He had Joel Skinner briefly, Larry Boa, Gary Varsho, Ozzie Guillen, Joe Torre, Ron Gardenhire, Charlie Manuel as well. So he's seen a lot of them, guys.
All right, Joel, and he had success as a manager right away, and a lot of it in 2004 became only the 4th manager in history to start his Major League managerial career with 3 consecutive division titles.
I'm just surprised he hasn't won that award. I mean, you'd think he would have won it by now with all the success he's had with the Twins.
The organization, since Gardenhire's been manager, has been recognized twice, named the Organization of the Year, but no Manager of the Year award. Ron Washington will get a lot of consideration getting the Rangers back to the playoffs. Joe Madden and the bounce back season that Tampa Bay has had. We'll see them for the last 4 games of the year as KCA walks with 2 outs. And we've gone over this before, but it's worth noting again. I mean, yeah, Minnesota has been very good for a long time now, but still, even with that, a new ballpark, no closer all year, at least their all-star closer, Joe Nathan, a former MVP, Justin Morneau, out for the last 3 months because of a concussion. Joe Mauer was hitting below 300 at the All-Star break and didn't hit a home run at Target Field until the middle of August. Defense is so important to the Twins, but both their second baseman and their shortstop have been on the disabled list twice each. And J.J. Hardy is away from the team now, back in Minnesota. They lost their third baseman to the DL a couple of times. Had to bring up a young player in Danny Valencia. One ball, one strike.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is in how you handle your team once you have adversity. You know, through injuries, through possible trades or whatever it might be. But to me, when you have everything in place and everything's cooking on all cylinders, that's when your job is easy. But when guys start getting hurt, especially guys who drive in runs like Morneau and Mauer, who didn't have the same power numbers as you had inside the dome, you know, Kadire's power numbers are down from in the dome. So when you can survive that, then I think that's a great consideration.
Look at tonight's AT&T trivia question. Who is the Twins' single-season RBI leader against the Royals? Joe Mauer, Kent Herbeck, Tony Oliva, or Michael Kadire?
Good question. Good question.
A strike on Lucas May, who has driven in 3 runs tonight with a double in the second inning and a sacrifice fly in the third. Facing Alex Burnett, who is the 4th Minnesota pitcher and came on to get the final out of the 4th. One ball, 2 strikes. Jason Kubel, who is in right field, has driven in 4 runs tonight. And I am told that ties him for second. Let me take that back. He's driven in 5. He had a 2-run double in the first and a 3-run home run in the 4th. That ties him for the second most in a single season against the Royals. As May grounds back to the mound. So he is second to whom? I'm going to say Michael Kadire.
Yeah, if Kubel's that close, I think I'll stay with you on that one.
19 last year. Joe Mauer and Kubel have 18. Jay Miller into left field, medium deep, and Delman Young brings it down. So Jay Miller is 1 out of 3, and there are 2 outs in the 5th inning. This Saturday, the first 20,000 fans will receive a Royals Sluggy blanket, courtesy of Fox Sports Kansas City, as the Royals take on Tampa Bay at 6:10. It's also Fan Appreciation Night at the ballpark, and you can get your tickets at Royals.com or by calling 1-800-6-ROYALS. Gerard Dyson is 1 out of 3 with his first Major League home run. That would be pretty close to a sluggy. Light jackets, blankets, and gloves in the house tonight. 65 degrees at first pitch. It was 46 degrees, at least in my house, when I got up this morning. So fall is here.
It was chilly.
Grounded to Tolbert. And Dyson is out. And Burnett has a 1-2-3 5th inning. And he has the Chevrolet play of the game.
Back in the second inning, a 2-run home run to right center field. To be his first major league home run.
And it was caught out in right center field by a gentleman named Mike Stark. And a heads-up play by Minnesota's Denard Span, who recognized that was Gerard's first major league home run, so he got the ball back from Mike Stark. And Mike Stark, in exchange, got that big bag right in front of him on the table there, a Royals goodie bag, and a baseball, and a Gerard Dyson autographed baseball is on the way. Denard Span then chucked it into the Royals bullpen for safekeeping. So there you go. And who knows what's inside of that bag?
He's had a good night.
Oh, and 2 on Orlando Hudson, who has driven in a run and scored a run. Joel ought to go out and get to know that guy, shouldn't he?
Well, yeah, Joel used to do a lot more of that.
Yeah, what happened to that?
What's going on with
I
that,
don't know.
you know? We used to see Joel in different places and showing us different things, different people.
Well, he's got his own suite now.
Heck, I'll invite him on our bowling team.
Dyson comes up to make the play in center field. Yeah, and along the lines of bowling, Joel, I mean, that guy's right up your alley.
Well,
Can you see me now?
Yeah, there's a couple thoughts here. You know, we have found out in the past that we've created a monster with the superfan types. So, you know, I don't know if I want to restart that trend.
Well, I don't think this guy's going to drive to Pittsburgh or anything.
Would you have thought that about the others in the past?
Well, we met him in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's where we met. That's where we met Chris.
No, it was Houston.
Well, you met him in Houston.
Oh,
That's
okay.
right. Frank and I met him in Pittsburgh.
You were
it was the
formally
same
introduced
trip.
later.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember in the old days when you would go out there and talk to these guys, get to know them a little bit. I mean, this guy picked a good spot. He brought his glove very high into left center field. Same general area where Dyson, on a full sprint, took an extra base hit and 2 RBIs away from Delman Young. Young is 2 out of 4 with that fly out, and 2 down in the 6th inning. See? Yeah? Right? High fives from everyone. Guy with the mohawk, I think.
I have to ask Joel how it feels to be referred to as in the old days.
Can you see me now? Absolutely we do, Mike Stark. Job well done, even though Joel has no time for you at all. Well, most people are bundling up, but those young guys are excited to be here, and in an attempt to get the attention of the camera people who are responsible for putting them on the crown vision in between innings. The old take the shirt off and twirl it over your head. Mike Avila's out by less than a step. Nice play by AT KCA, charging into the grass. And Avilas is 1 for 3.
That's good hustle by Mike right here, running through the bag. Ryan did a real good job making this play close, but he was just out. Nice play by KCA at shortstop.
And up comes Billy Butler, who has 2 hits and his 77th RBI of the year. KCA, and we remember him at second base, not at shortstop, but J.J. Hardy has a sore knee. He is back in Minnesota, working on that, trying to get ready for the Twins' final series of the year, which will be at Target Field. Twins will be hosting Toronto for 4 games. Twins have already set a new franchise record for home attendance with 4 more games to go. 2 balls and 1 strike on Billy. Three and 1. Well, just about an inning ago, we were talking about how both managers are looking for a pitcher to come out of the bullpen and restore some order. And I was saying, using the word restore very loosely, because there never really was any order tonight, as the Twins got 3 in the first inning. But Phil Umber has retired 7 of the last 8, and Alex Burnett had retired 5 in a row before the walk to Billy Butler, and now he's going to hit the showers, and Ron Gardenhire is going to go to the bullpen again. Jose Majares comes on to face Kila Kaihue. Royals this year, and the final game is on Sunday against Tampa Bay, and it's the 2nd annual Bark at the K, and lots of fun activities for you and your dog, as well as live adoptions and a free dog bowl with ticket purchase. So spend the last day of the season with your furry best friend, and you can get your tickets at Royals.com or at 1-800-6-ROYALS. Jose Majares on to face Kila Kaihue, who's had a productive night with a double, a run scored, and he's driven in a run with a sacrifice fly. It's been a tough year for Majares, who is making his 45th appearance. He was on the disabled list in April because of problems with his left elbow. He had to leave the team for 8 days in June because of a family medical emergency. And then in August, he had surgery on his right knee. He's ahead of Keela 0-2. Maharis picking up for Alex Burnett. We got Mike Aviles to ground out, but then walk Billy Butler. And that gets away from Butera. So there goes the ground ball in the double play. Runner at second with one out.
It's hard to tell whether this is a cross-up or just a high pitch that he couldn't handle right here. It was up in the air, just right. I think he just put his glove right in front of his face and just screened himself off.
No, it's a pass ball. And 1 ball, 2 strikes to Keela. And now Butera out to have a word with Maharis. And while they talk it over, we will remind you that tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefebvre with Frank White, Joel Goldberg, producer Kevin Schenk, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton and Sam Abramson, and the producer of Royals Live is TJ McGinnis. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Keela, who homered in the just completed Cleveland series, and he did so against a left-hand pitcher, Tony Sipp, an impressive home run to right field. Keela has never faced Jose Maharis. Still 2-2. And once again, Butera out to have a word with Maharis.
Yeah, Keela seemed to have pretty good plate coverage on the fastball away. The breaking ball down and he gets out front a little bit. But to me, you want to pitch him in this situation. Orioles go down and away with a breaking ball, getting to reach a little bit. But Keela really, Ryan, is a nice story. I mean, he's just come a long way. But I imagine in 06, he was the one guy that I really had a hard time getting going in that season. Never did quite get it figured out. But since then, everything has just been uphill for him.
Did he get a piece? He did. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, for you, he hit 199 with only 6 home runs. The year before that, he hit 20 home runs when the Royals were at High Desert, and
yeah, look at
they were giving away memberships to the 20 home run club on the streets that year. I mean, everyone hit 20 home runs.
Look at the walks in that year. High Desert, just
97 walks. Fouled off of third. Tolbert is there, and there are 2 outs. 2007, 21 home runs, and then 2008 is when he hit 39. Josh Fields hit his second for the Royals, both against the Twins this year in the 4th inning.
Well, I'd say this is almost like 2 home runs here, Ryan. This ball is over 417 feet away from home plate, up on top of the second wall, straight away center. Extreme power right there.
The most impressive September call-up in the sprint, you call it. And Gerard Dyson just hanging on by his fingernails now after a surge from Lucas May. That's why you can't count the votes too soon. Dyson has a 2-run home run and the best defensive play tonight. Lucas May has driven in 3 runs. 1 ball and 1 strike. Speaking of Kansas Cityans, and you being a lifelong Kansas Cityan, except for what, first 5 years of your life? On the Crown Vision in between innings, certain Royals were asked, simple question, KU or MU? And I can't believe you participated in that.
Well, that was early spring training.
Whoa.
That's before I knew I was going to be on TV and all that other good stuff. I was just being a team player. I was a coach, and they said, hey, will you do this? I said, okay, fine. So I was calling a pickle.
So someone would say KU, there'd be a cheer from half the fans, boos from the other half, reverse if someone said MU, and then there's Frank White. Man, if I'm you, I stay out of that one.
Well, at the time, it was a tough one, but he wanted to go to KU. What can I do? I couldn't say no. Go to Missouri.
Who's he?
My son,
okay.
My oldest son, Frank. He wanted to go to KU.
But you did, you tried to do the best you could, because you first pointed out that you live in Missouri, so that gets the Missouri people excited. But your son went to KU, so you had to go with KU.
I know. It's tough, They all wanted to go somewhere different. I had 2 that went to Texas Christian and TCU, and I had one daughter who graduated from Rockhurst College. So it's like, who do you root for? So you tend to root for where you spent your money.
Fields grounds it to short, and KCA throws him out. So the Royals are scoreless in the 6th. They are still in front, 10-8.
Season, and that means the final Real Royals trivia this Friday. We've got great prizes, lots of tough, challenging questions, so encourage everybody to come out to Rivals early to register. Who knows, guys, maybe we can even get our buddy Mike Stark to come out and be a contestant. And I'll give you guys this question, Twins related. Which player had the most hits in a game as a Royal versus the Twins? A, Jim Eisenreich, B, Joe Randa, C, Kevin Seitzer, D, Mike Sweeney. Most hits in a game versus the Twins.
Huh. Meanwhile, Jesse Chavez takes over in the top of the 7th inning.
And I'm going to go out and personally invite Mike right now, by the way.
Mike Stark?
Yeah, why not? Eisenreich, Randa, Seitzer, or Sweeney? Frank, you're awfully quiet.
I'm trying to think a little bit, Joel.
Neither went to KU or Mizzou.
Or Wisconsin.
Or Wisconsin.
Or Minnesota.
To quote Frank, as he just said, he's going to think a little bit.
Ryan, what do you got? This question's not difficult.
Just a little bit.
Most hits in a game against the Twins.
Yep, as a Royal.
I'd say Seitzer.
Ryan?
I'll say Mike Sweeney.
You're both right. It was all of them. They each had 5.
Oh,
Just throwing you guys a softball today.
that's good. That's kind of like, you know, the everyone gets a trophy approach.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which Ryan doesn't like, by the way.
No.
Which one did you say, Ryan?
Sweeney.
Yeah, it wasn't him.
Foul outside of third base.
5 hits for all of them.
Well, was it him or was it not him?
It was all of them, but Frank just said you don't like that approach, so I took you out
Oh,
of
okay,
it.
I got you.
They each had 5 hits in the game at one point versus the Twins.
What is this, game number 156 or something?
That's what my scorecard
Yeah.
says.
Matt Guerrier getting ready for the bottom of the 7th inning. Phil Umber came on in relief of Kyle Davies with 1 out in the 4th and gave up a 3-run home run to Jason Kubel, which put Minnesota back in front after falling behind by 4. But then Humber, after that, went 2 2/3 scoreless. And now leadoff walk to Michael Kadire. So Chavez trying to pick up where Umber left off. Pretty good comeback after coming on and giving up the 3-run home run. Got the final 2 outs of the 4th, gave up a walk, no runs in the 5th, and a 1-2-3 6th. The 2 biggest innings tonight. I'm not predicting another one in this inning, but two of the biggest innings tonight began with a leadoff walk. Minnesota's 5-run 4th inning, a walk to Drew Butera, and the Royals' 3-run 4th inning, which put them back out in front. A leadoff walk. 2 strikes on Danny Valencia, who is 0 for 3.
Well, Manager Ned Yost was talking about Chavez and the lower arm slot that they got him in. They try to get him to have more command and breaking ball and change up and to create more deception. So he's a lot lower, Ryan, tonight than he's been in the past.
Valencia tonight has made as many outs than he did in a 3-game series. The last time the Twins were here, that's when he went 8 for 12 with 7 RBIs. And that would be a harvest moon, would it not?
Oh, that's spooky. I know that. I don't know what it is.
You can actually see the contour of the moon. Matt Tolbert is grounded out twice and lined out to center field and is 0 for his last 10. He puts an end to that and drives it into left center. Kadire will go first to third, and Tolbert and the Royals did not react quickly enough. They could have had him at first base, but Mike Aviles, when he got the throw from the outfield, did not immediately throw to first base.
But that's when your first baseman's got to be yelling. Hopefully you can hear him right here, but you might not have been able to hear Keelan call for the ball. So, but he definitely had a shot to get him right here. It's a nice base hit to left center field. Dyson does a good job, comes up, throws to the right base. Now, if Michael hears right away, then he can make the play. But when he got the ball, he was expecting to try to put a tag on, and that was enough for him to miss the play at first base.
You know, maybe I need to take that back because he turned his head quickly just to look at the runner. So Keela might have been yelling at him, throw to first, but he wasn't preparing himself for a throw.
No, he was more or less preparing himself for a tag, and you can kind of watch his glove angle here. And Dyson makes a nice one-hop throw in, but he looked down and then he looked up. So he might have been thinking he was yelling, he's coming, so he went to set himself up for the tag play and not a play at first base.
Well, the Royals don't get that out, but because of Dyson, let's get another look at it. So, yeah, he looks down, takes a step, and then throws. And Tolbert was about halfway when he stopped. between first and second base.
That's when you can't really tell by the replay, but that's as a middle infield on balls in the alley like that. You want to be able to look back over your shoulder and take a quick look at the base runner to see where he's at. And so Tolbert went hoping that the throw would go to third and he could go right on into second base. But Dyson made a great decision to go to second base. But that's where if you're receiving play like Mike, just look over your shoulder, see where that guy is, because you got plenty of time because the ball's out in left center field.
And you can still see the skid marks, if you will, or the baseball equivalent of the skid marks of where Tolbert stopped. And it is between first and second, if not a step or two closer to second base. So Kadire at third, Tolbert at first. And the play by Dyson keeps the double play in order. Utera is 0 for 2. He was the walk leading off the fourth inning, and the Twins turn that into 5. And now a line drive is caught by Fields.
When you take a look at this play here, this is an outstanding play by Josh Fields going to the line. That saved a run right there for the Royals. That's a great play. Left his feet, hit the ground, up looking around, but outstanding play right there.
So first and third, 2 down to AT KCA. 1 strike. And KCA got a piece of Lucas May with his follow through. A single and a run scored in the fourth. KCA also has reached with a walk. One ball, 1 strike. So a leadoff walk in this inning with 1 out. Chavez then gave up a single to put runners at first and third, and now 2 down. And 2 balls and 1 strike on AT KCA. KCA, another Minnesota Twin that has been injured this year. He had surgery on his right elbow early in the year. Fouls it back, and the count is 2-2. Kyle Davies went 3 1/3, gave up 7. Phil Umber 2 2/3, gave up 1, and now Jesse Chavez in the top of the 7th. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Three balls, 2 strikes.
You know, the one thing about pitching coach Bob McClure, Ryan, is the fact that he's not waiting around and letting pitchers get their brains beat out the same way. He's coming up with ideas and trying to make them a little bit more successful on the mound and changing arm angles, changing grips on the baseball, whatever he can do to create some movement, keep them in the strike zone, and let them have some success. He's been willing to get them to try it.
Tolbert is running. Avila's fields, and a great stretch by Keela for the out. And the Twins leave 2 in the 7th. And standing out in right center field with Mike Stark is Joel Goldberg.
Well, first off, I got to let you know that his name is Tim Stark. So
Okay.
just one, we
says
find
Mike.
these little
Says-
details that get lost in the shuffle every now and then. And Tim came out here with the big "Can You See Me Now" shirt. And if that wasn't enough, you catch a home run ball. So what are you thinking as you're catching that ball?
That's pretty awesome. Right to me. Good hit.
Nice and easy. And you said you had a little bit of room here?
Yeah, I had plenty of room. People moved out before he hit it, and there it was.
All right, so you get the home run ball, and then Denard Span actually asks you for the ball back. All right, so a lot of guys don't want to give that up.
They said it was his first home run ball. He deserves it.
All right, so what did they give you in return?
Three cabs, a shirt, and a bag. Peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
Life is good. And I should point out that the shirt says "See Me Now," and then there's the back of the shirt, which is really the front of the shirt, and that says what?
Bikers against drivers.
All right, see, so there you go. Just wanted to make sure. Now, do you come here often, for one, and do you bring the glove often?
I bring the glove. I don't come on. I stand here and I bring the glove.
All right, so it paid off tonight. So there we go. Tim Stark got the glove, got the ball, gave the ball back, got the T-shirt. I mean, you guys could see him without the camera, right?
With that shirt, yes, absolutely.
With the shirt, the beard helps, the earrings help, the shirt. I mean, the whole thing. See, I mean, you had this thing planned out very well.
It just happens that way.
All right.
Where's Tim from?
Well, Tim, where are you from?
Independence.
From Independence. There you go. So we will send it back to you guys, and Tim's got all the goodies out here, and we've got, I believe, a new pitcher coming in already. We'll let you guys talk about it, guys.
All right, Joel. Good work. It's Matt Guerrier, who strikes out Alex Gordon to begin the bottom of the 7th inning. Yuniesky Betancourt is 0 for 3. He has driven in a run, his 77th of the year. Billy Butler has driven in a run, his 77th of the year. I don't know about you, but that was hard hitting, cut to the heart of things type of interviewing, like, say, 60 Minutes.
Well, that was definitely a good interview by Joel. I mean, he talked about the catch. He asked him why did he throw the ball back on the field, and he made a nice gesture to say, look, it's his home run ball. He deserved it. So I'm sure he wasn't expecting anything back, and it's nice that the Royals were able to recognize his sportsmanship and reward him for it.
Because some fans will be a little more difficult with situations like that.
I've seen it, yes.
Yep. And we found out his name was Tim, not Mike.
The most important thing.
Yeah. Two balls and 2 strikes on Betancourt. Well, this has been quite a game. Minnesota scoring 3 in the first inning. The Royals came back with 7. 6 in the second, 1 in the third. Then the Twins scored 5 in the fourth. And the Royals with 3 in the bottom of the fourth to regain the lead. And it has been calm since, as Guerrier has struck out his 2 hitters in the 7th inning, Gordon and now Betancourt. And now gets Lucas May.
Guerrier's throwing a real nice slider, and that's been the pitch of choice right here for the strikeouts.
Lucas May has driven in 3 runs. A 2-run double in the 2nd inning, his first major league extra base hit, and a sacrifice fly in the 3rd. Matt Guerrier is the 6th Minnesota pitcher. Kevin Slowey, who normally beats up on the Royals, wasn't able to get out of the 2nd inning tonight. He gave up 6 runs on 6 hits. So Ron Gardenhire was going to the bullpen in inning number 2. Got an inning and a third out of Jeff Manship, 2/3 from Randy Flores, an inning and 2/3 from Alex Burnett, and 2/3 of an inning from Jose Majares. Bill Mesh is going to get a chance to hold it in the top of the 8th inning. Off the end of the bat and into center field. So a 2-hit game for Lucas May.
Guerrero's been throwing a real good slider. He throws another one right there. Lucas May missed one earlier, but he got this one right on the end of the bat and forced it back up the middle in the center field for a base hit.
And that brings up Jay Miller, who's 1 out of 3 with a double. Fouled back, 0-1. In 6 tries this year against the Twins here at Kauffman Stadium, the Royals have won 1 game. Twins have been tough on the Royals for a long time, but especially this year, and even going back to last year and the year before, the Minnesota Twins have won 9 straight series at Kauffman Stadium. One ball, 2 strikes. Jay Miller was an addition to the lineup late yesterday in Cleveland. Mitch Meyer was going to bat 9th and play in right field, but was scratched because of tightness in his left knee. So Miller got the start yesterday, and he gets the start tonight. Lucas May is running. The pitch is low, and the throw is in time. So a quick tag provided by Orlando Hudson gets the Twins out of the 7th inning. Base updates. Toronto beats New York and Baltimore beats Tampa Bay, so nothing changes in the East as Tampa Bay still holds a half-game lead over the Yankees. Phillies have clinched the East. They did that by way of a loss yesterday, and they beat Washington tonight. And Atlanta, which is trailing a half game in the National League wild card race, tied with Florida there in extra innings. As far as the West goes, Colorado is 4.5 back, but they have 1 team to pass before they can get to the Giants. They're trailing. San Diego, no score at home against Chicago. Giants with a half-game lead in the West. Gil Mesh gets the ball in the 8th inning tonight. The Royals had a 3-run lead yesterday afternoon in Cleveland going into the 8th, and the Indians scored 5 against Robinson Tejeda. So tonight Gil Mesh gets the 8th inning, and he gets the top of the Minnesota order. This is Gil's 9th appearance out of the bullpen. And he's ahead of Denard Span, no balls and 2 strikes. Denard Span just 5 out of 21 in the past against Gil. That's .238. He opened the game tonight with a single to center field off of Kyle Davies, and the Twins turned that into a 3-run inning. Span also has walked. He is 1 out of 3, but both of his outs are line outs, so he could easily be 3 for 3 tonight. Fastball is high, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, you're talking a little bit about Gil Mesh and his arm situation, where he was scheduled to have surgery, opted not to have surgery, opted to try to pitch out of the bullpen, get it as well as he can, but we kind of kicked around and thought that at some point he's going to have surgery down the road. So I think coming back next year, pitching out of the bullpen, I get does that less stress on his shoulder by throwing out of the bullpen, or is it by working once every 5 days?
You know, I was under the impression that he would eventually need surgery on his shoulder if he ever wanted to be a starter again. But maybe he would be able to avoid that if he just continued to pitch out of the bullpen. And Span strikes out, looking at a changeup. 1 away in the 8th inning.
This is one pitch that Gil was really working on while he was a starter, trying to perfect the changeup, and he does a good job there. Had good arm action on it, good run away from the left-handed hitter. It stayed out over the front side. You can see it back in his fingers, and outstanding pitch.
We were talking in Cleveland about how it was a very unselfish move by Gil Mesh to agree to go to the bullpen, and it could possibly be a career changer, because if he decides, as the Royals expect him to pitch out of the bullpen all of next year, then he's a free agent. Does he then market himself as a reliever after 2011? If he wants to be a starter again, well, then he's going to go and have that surgery. So he would have to miss 1 season, which would be 2012. That poor guy took one off the mouth.
The worst place you could take one is on the lips, and that
applies to the fans too, right?
Everybody, keep your lips out of the way. Look at the Minnesota Twins.
Twin guys.
He's just having a ball.
He's covering his lips. Keela backhands, underhands, 2 down in the 8th inning. Hudson is 1 for 4. So anyway, if Gil wants to be a starter again, well, at some point, then he will have to have surgery and will have to miss a season. And if he misses all of 2012 and then decides he wants to market himself as a starter in 2013, I would think that would be pretty difficult.
Well, I have to agree with you. I mean, I think what he's doing right now is pretty phenomenal. Knowing what's going on with the shoulder and still able to even be this effective is unbelievable to me.
Delman Young has 2 hits. He has scored twice. He has driven in a run, and he's been the victim of the most important defensive play of the game tonight. Gerard Dyson taking an extra base hit and 2 RBIs away from Young back in the 2nd inning. Curveball hangs high, 1 ball, 1 strike. Delman Young's double in the first stayed in the ballpark by about an inch. I mean, literally, if he hits it an inch higher up against the wall in center field, it hits the top of the wall and ends up on the other side of the wall. Two and two. Gill tried a little blind backhand swipe. He missed it. Mike Aviles does not, and Gilmesh has a scoreless 8.
Set to lead things off. He and many of the Royals rookies have been a part of this big offensive night, including Lucas May. We'll talk about that coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Plus, we'll recap Kyle Davies' struggles on the night, hear from Ned Yost, and we'll get Paul Splittorff's analysis. All that and more coming up. And, you know, guys, I had Tim out there in that bright yellow or green shirt. He's not going to be able to come on Real Royals Trivia, but he said he'd love to do an inning with you guys on Friday. Just some good insight.
Great.
It's all yours.
Thank you, Joel. Jesse Crane for the bottom of the 8th inning. Jay Miller, Gerard Dice, and Mike Aviles coming up. And Jesse Crane is the 7th Minnesota pitcher, which isn't as big of a deal this time of year as it is before the rosters expand. Kevin Slowey an inning and 2/3. Jeff Manship an inning and 1/3. Randy Flores 2/3 of an inning. Alex Burnett an inning and 2/3. Jose Majares 2/3. Matt Guerrier 1 inning. And now Jesse Crane. One and one on Jay Miller, who doubled back in the 3rd inning. He is 1 for 3 tonight. Two balls, 1 strike. Royals' biggest inning is a 6-run second after falling behind early 3-0. Royals added a run in the 3rd and 3 more in the 4th. And those 3 runs in the 4th helped the Royals regain the lead. Minnesota had taken a 3-0 lead. Then the Royals were in front 7-3. The Twins had a 5-run 4th to go ahead 8-7, and then the 3-run bottom of the 4th inning. Twins are 2nd in the American League with a 3.83 ERA. But against the Twins tonight, the Royals have 10 runs on 12 hits. A broken bat, and Jay Miller has his second hit. And the Royals have 13.
Well, he's got a lot of reach on this breaking ball. He's got those long arms, and you see his bat snap in half, but just strong enough to get the ball out over the infield for a base hit. Just all arms, just reaching, and you can see how the bat comes apart because he hit right on the end of the bat. But just takes strength to get the ball out there like that.
Now we might find out what kind of bunter Gerard Dyson is.
Well, when you're a pitcher and a third baseman, you're not used to filling the bunt by a guy who runs as fast as he does. It really causes you to get in a hurry. When you get in a hurry, you can make a mistake.
Didn't square around very early there. That was kind of in between bunting for a base hit and a sacrifice. And it's 0-1.
Yeah, it's got to be either or. You can't be in the middle. You don't want to bunt. If he bunts that square, he probably bunts it over top of his head at third base. So you got to square around. It's a sacrifice. You tell yourself you're going to be out, get the ball down, and then run. Don't run before you bunt.
Bunted in the air, and an easy play for Tolbert. So 1 out with Miller at first. And Mike Aviles to the plate. He has scored twice, reaching with a single and a walk, and he has stolen his 11th base. Stolen bases for Aviles is his highest total in the big leagues. And I remember in spring training, and Mike showed up in great shape, was trimmed down from last year, just appeared to be faster. You don't normally see a guy improve his speed at the age of 29. But having watched Mike run the bases, and you really don't have to have a scout's eye. You just watch a guy play every day and you notice differences. And many of us notice the speed. Miller is running, and it's grounded back to the mound. Crane will go to first base. So Miller moves up to second base, and Aviles is the second out. Aviles has never had a huge stolen base year in the minor leagues. He had 14 for Omaha in 2006. And a couple of 11 stolen base seasons, including one with Frank and Wichita.
Well, the one thing he said hit right on the head was he just came in real good shape. When you lose weight, you trim up, and you can pick up some speed. But the one thing he does, he makes every play close. I mean, with a ground ball, he runs through the base, and he's always either just out or just safe, and that in itself will give you an idea that this guy's running a lot better. And I think lately, Matt Yost has been turning loose on the bases, and he's a couple stolen bases, a couple days.
Billy Butler is fooled. 2 hits for Billy, an RBI and a run scored. Joaquin Soria getting ready for Jason Kubel, Michael Kadire, and Danny Valencia in the 9th inning. One ball, one strike against Jesse Crane. In the past, Billy is 3 out of 8 against Crane. All those hits are singles. And again, late on the hard slider, and he's down 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, Billy expecting that breaking ball to go down in a weight run. This one stayed up out over the plate. It just spun right out over the plate, and he just overextended on it.
Still 1-2. The Royals can hang on. It would be the first time all year that they have won one of the first 2 games in a series with the Twins. Minnesota has won the first 2 games of every series they played this year. So the 3 games that the Royals have won have been in the final game, trying to avoid a sweep. Billy is still alive and 1 ball, 2 strikes. And we were telling you early in the game that the problem for the Royals this year against Minnesota has not been the offense. In fact, playing the Twins has brought out the best in the Royals offense. Before this game, and the Royals have 13 hits tonight, the Royals are hitting .332 against Minnesota, which is the highest average ever for them against the Twins. But the Royals' ERA against Minnesota was 7.56. And the Royals have allowed 8 runs tonight. So that will go up by a few points. But thanks to the work of the offense, the Royals might still win this game even though they've allowed 8 runs.
Well, Ryan, you're right. You see the doubles, and that's what Ned Yost wanted to see. He just wanted to see guys be a lot more aggressive with the bat. You know, just don't go up there with that 2-strike approach. You go to with a more of an aggressive approach with the first 2 strikes, and then look for the single in the end. And I think tonight the Royals have done a good job of just going up there and driving the ball.
Gerard Dyson has his first major league home run tonight. Back in the Royals' 6-run second inning. Josh Fields right now has the game-winning hit. If the score doesn't change, a 2-run home run in the 4th. Billy Butler trying to drive in Jay Miller. 2-2.
When you think about it, you look at a guy like Billy Butler who's hitting well above 300. So if he tried to generate more bat speed and try to generate more power, he may lose 15 points on his average, but he'll be a lot more productive hitter. And I don't think we'd be sitting up here talking about Billy Butler driving to another ball park.
Royals are scoreless in the 8th. Here comes Joakim Soria for the 9th. And Joakim Soria going for his 42nd save. He is 41 out of 43. So a 95% success rate. 34 straight. That is a team record by a wide margin now. 21 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings. 1 ball, 1 strike against Jason Kubel. The league hitting just .211 against Soria. It's only allowed 49 hits in 62 2/3 innings. Off of Betancourt's glove, and the Twins have the leadoff man on. A play he should have made, but that looked like that was down around the end of the bat and had a lot of side spin on it.
They might have, Ryan. Lucky hit him up around the heel of his glove. Lucky just rather than just go through the ball, Lucky just stayed straight up, and the ball kind of played him on this one. Just got to get those legs bent, get down, and try to get the ball into the pocket. But Lucky had already set himself to throw, and the ball went off the heel of the glove. You can see right there, he's just setting his feet and didn't get the ball in the good part of the glove where he could just take it and throw.
It's an error on Betancourt. Jason Repko is going to run for Kubel at first. Ball 1 to Michael Kadire, who had an RBI double back in the first inning. Kadire is 1 out of 12 against Joaquin Soria. 2 balls and no strikes. And Soria has struck him out 7 times.
I think the one thing you don't want to do when you have a guy dominated like Soria has Kadire, you don't want to fall behind 2-0 because that makes him a little bit better hitter.
Missed a pitch up. 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, Soria becoming one of the elite closers in the American League, and he doesn't do it by lighting up the radar gun. That last pitch was 87 miles an hour. That pitch at 89. I was talking to Travis Hafner when we were in Cleveland, who had the most at-bats of any Cleveland Indian hitter against Soria. And he said it's just hard to pick up the movement. He says there are very few guys who throw a good cutter. They will throw a cutter, but there are very few guys who throw a good cutter. Two balls, 2 strikes.
I think, too, it's got to be a lot of deception in there, too, because we see a lot of guys swing and miss his fastball.
What we have seen at the end of last year and a lot this year, hitters swinging very early in the count. His first couple of years, hitters would take a strike. And Kadire hits it to right center field and deep. Back goes Miller. Reaches up, and he made a spectacular catch. So it was Gerard Dyson back in the second inning against Delman Young, and now Jay Miller against Michael Kadire in the ninth.
Well, Michael Kadire couldn't hit this ball any better in the right center field, but you see Miller with those long legs, and he was stretched out around. He ran this ball down. Just outstanding play. I mean, look where he starts from and look where he ends up. I mean, this is athletic speed right here. I mean, this is just fun to watch, beautiful to watch. I mean, those long legs cover a lot of ground in a short period of time.
So the Twins were that close to runners at second and third at least, and nobody out. But it's a runner at first and 1 out, and strike 1 on Danny Valencia. Valencia is 0 for 4 after only making 4 outs in 3 games the last time the Twins were in Kansas City. We told you before, Jay Miller, before he signed with the Marlins, he was going to go to Stanford and play basketball and football. And you can only guess, although I don't think it would take you very long, what position he was going to play in football after watching him make that play.
Well, I think he's going to be a wide receiver.
Yep.
When you watch those legs just stretch out like that, man, that was beautiful to watch. I haven't seen long legs like that cover ground since Willie Wilson was here.
At the plate tonight, Miller has 2 hits, including a double. Danny Valencia is facing Joakim Soria for the first time. Two balls, 2 strikes. A little extra juice on that one, 93 miles an hour. Repko is running, and it's popped up. And Repko lost the ball. He lost track of the outs. The Royals will have their easiest double play of the season to end the game. So Jay Miller makes a huge play in the 9th inning. And then a bad play on the bases by Minnesota. And for the first time all year, the Royals win one of the first 2 games of a series with the Twins. And the Royals had to come back twice tonight. Joakim Soria with his 35th consecutive save. He has another consecutive scoreless inning. Now 23 in a 3rd inning, so that breaks the team record, consecutive scoreless innings by a reliever. So a big night for a lot of Royals tonight with 10 runs on 13 hits. And Joel is down in the...
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. We actually have a couple of guests, and we'll start with Jay Miller. First off, take us through that spectacular catch that you just made to save a run.
Well, I mean, in that situation, we don't want that guy to get a double right there, and got a good jump on the ball and made a play.
We saw a lot of athleticism, a lot of defensive play tonight from you, from Josh Fields, from Gerard Dyson as well.
Well, I mean, we're out there just trying to help our pitchers out. I mean, in a game like this, these guys are in the playoff hunt, and I know they want to win, and we want to win, and we just got to come out here and play hard.
And how about just the importance for a lot of you young guys right now, just to make a little bit of a point?
I mean, each and every day we're out here trying to, make people see us, open everybody's eyes, and just let them know, we're ready to play.
All right, nice job tonight. That is Jay Miller. Let's bring in Josh Fields as well. And way back in the 4th inning, Josh Fields had the game-winning RBI in a game that looked like it was going to keep going and going and going. First off, tell me about that grand slam against a guy I don't think you've ever faced before.
No, I knew that with a lefty behind me, they were going to make some tough pitches, and fortunately left it over the plate, and I took probably my easiest swing I've taken since I've been here.
I gave you a grand slam on it. It was a 2-run home run, but it was 424 feet on a cool night as well. I would assume there's no doubt in your mind that was going.
It's it's a good feeling when the bat gets completely hard when you hit a ball, and that happened, and I heard how long it was, and so it was fun.
All right, so you make that play offensively to give your team eventually the win, but how about the defensive play, the dive back in the 7th inning? Tell us about that one.
I would say that felt the best. Struggling at third since I've been up here, and making a play like that to kind of save some runs right there in the end of the game, felt good.
All right, great job tonight, Josh.
Thank you.
All right, that is Josh Fields with the massive 424-foot home run way back. I'm not sure if you guys remember that. In the 4th inning, guys.
We do. It was a while ago. Thanks, Joel. Good work. Royals take game 1, 10-8 over Minnesota, and we'll be right back.